Well, it's been 2 evenings I missed, and I never miss radio. What happened? Well, yesterday morning, I had a little procedure, a little heart procedure. It was planned, and everything went fine. So I'm going to be hanging around for a long time, just so you know. And I want to thank the people at Johns Hopkins for their spectacular care and treatment. And enough said about that. Then the night before, Wednesday, I'd gone to Capitol Hill, joint session of Congress, myself and family members. I want to thank Speaker Johnson for allowing us to watch what was a truly historic speech by a truly historic man, Benjamin Netanyahu. I've heard a lot of speeches. That has to be right there at the top. Absolutely fantastic. Kamala Harris boycotted it, as did, I would have to guess, a couple dozen Democrats, or actually more there than I thought would be. And there are two individuals in particular who never got out of their chairs, best as I could see, and barely clapped, even when it came to American hostages and so forth. Christopher Murphy, Democrat of Connecticut, and I forget the gentleman's name from Georgia, the African-American senator. Those two sat together, Warnock, that's right, and never stood up. Even when Netanyahu was praising America, talking about 1776. Maybe they stood up when he praised Biden, but that was it. And for Kamala Harris to boycott a speech by a democratically elected prime minister in the middle of a hellhole is grotesque, but it's par for the course. Kamala Harris hates Israel. She embraces the anti-Semites in her party. She has never denounced Tlaib or Omar or AOC or any of the rest of them. Vice President of the United States. Does anybody remember her giving some great speech about anti-Semitism spreading across the country? She gave a speech to the Anti-Defamation League that's headed by an Obama hack, but only after she was condemned because one of these little Hitler youth on college campuses, on our college campus that is, was attacking Israel, and her response was, well, isn't that the great thing about democracy? You can speak, and this is how you're heard, your voice is heard. What a dunderhead. Is she the dumbest vice president in American history? And, of course, the media, as I told you, are creating a fiction. Oh, what a great prosecutor. No, she wasn't. She was lousy. She was awful. And I'll again ask the question. What cases did she personally prosecute as DA and Attorney General? She's this great prosecutor. She's so great, she talks about the convicted felon Trump. Yeah, if you reject the First Amendment, the 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th, it was a hell of a prosecution. What about the 1,500 people she threw into jail for smoking marijuana? You hear that, America? Now she's for legalizing marijuana. She's a chameleon. She wanted to be known as a progressive prosecutor and a hard-ass prosecutor. And right now, she wants you to think she's a hard-ass prosecutor. What about all those priests, the pedophilias, that she refused to charge, refused to investigate? We talked about this years and years ago, and I'll talk about it again. That's right. She turned a cold shoulder to these people who came forward. Their lawyers came forward. They couldn't even get a meeting with her. Then when they were bringing their own civil suits, they asked the Attorney General in her office, can you at least provide us with the documents and the information? They were rejected. Oh, she's a tough prosecutor, don't you know? And as Vice President of the United States, how many of these peaceful Palestinians we're talking about exterminating Jews and destroying our monuments, and not just them, obviously the Marxists among us. How many of them did she demand should be prosecuted? Not one. Did she demand that student visas be yanked and people who are here as guests of our country be deported? Not one. She's a fake, a fraud, and a phony, and an idiot. On top of all the... That's right, I said... Ooh. You can't talk that way about a female African-American. She's half Jamaican and half Indian. I said that, a few years ago, Mr. Producer? And what did they do? They went back to, like, the 1840s to find out there was some lineage. Remember all that? What a joke. Oh, yes. No. And now, of course, J.D. Vance is a racist. Excuse me, isn't he married to a brown woman, an Indian? Yes, but that doesn't count. Oh, and did you hear him talk about, what is that phrase, Rich? Catwoman, or what is that phrase? I don't even know what he's talking about, do you? All I know is they're very upset about it. Now, they can go on and on calling Trump Hitler. Nobody was upset about that. The media didn't say cut it out. That clown senator from Arizona, the bald guy, Kelly, he's desperately desiring to be vice president. He said, this cat thing, it's just terrible. What about the Hitler thing? He was silent. The media were promoting it. Apparently, if you call somebody a catwoman, whatever that is, and I don't know, that's worse than calling somebody Hitler in the American media. Well, then, what exactly is Kamala Harris's ideology? Well, we found a video that hasn't been played yet. Hat tip, Mr. Producer. That was on Twitter, a.k.a. X. Her ideology is that of a Marxist. How dare you call a woman a Marxist? How dare you call a person of color a Marxist? Why? I call white people who are men Marxists. Hold on. No, you don't understand. No, I guess I don't. Well, you listen yourselves. Here's a montage. Cut one. Go.
It has to be about a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place, some folks might need more. Equitable distribution. Giving resources based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place. So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests often everybody should get the same thing. Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place, as opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place. And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more. So we all end up in the same place, right? We are proud of the fact that equity is one of our guiding principles. Proud of the fact that we understand equality is important, but not everybody starts out on the same base. We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal. So when we talk about the work we are doing here together, it is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity. To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy. But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners.
So this is all Marxist problem. Equity. We got to end up in the same place. Can you imagine all of us ending up in the same place? No matter who you are, what you do, how hard you work, your education, what you develop, what kind of lifestyle you choose for yourself, everybody must end up in the same place. You know what that is? It's a gulag. It's a gulag. So she's spewing this Marxist pablum. Marxist pablum. Equity. We all need to wind up in the same place, even though we all don't start in the same place. What kind of stupidity, dangerous, gravely dangerous, imbecilic propaganda is this? Then the media try to purge that Kamala Harris is Biden's border czar. The same media that lied to you about Mr. Negative 17 IQ in the Oval Office, on and on and on. He's sharp as can be. And you people who dare to show the clips, you people who cherry pick, you people, just because he gets confused from time to time doesn't mean he has dementia, doesn't mean he isn't the sharpest tack in the drawer. No. Then the debate, oops, we got to dump him. The cover is up. It's over. The biggest, most massive cover-up in American history. Broom the primary voters. Broom them out. Bring in Kamala. And may I say, the first, of course, Kamala wants a debate. She says Donald Trump is a coward. He's backing off. Well, of course, Donald Trump didn't commit to debating her, but nonetheless, she wants a debate. Now, let me ask you a question. No, she doesn't. She's a coward. Mark, what do you mean? Ladies and gentlemen, she's being handed the presidential nomination from the Democrats. You know, if you don't start at the same place, you got to end up at the same place. Equity being practiced by the Democrats with Kamala Harris. They've made it impossible for anybody to debate her, challenge her at the Democrat Party convention. There's no debate. There's no discussion. There's a coronation of somebody who's never received a single vote for president from anybody. She doesn't want to debate at the convention. Now, all you guys on TV and radio, you can repeat that and sound really smart. Isn't that true, though, Mr. Producer? What debate? What debate? I challenged Donald Trump, and he's... Hey, you haven't even had a convention yet. You didn't run for president. Just because the Democrat Party's handing you a participation trophy doesn't mean all the rest of us have to fall in line. You're a loser. You're a loser. You're pathetic. I can't think of 3 things you did well as vice president. Oh, don't Google. Just off the top of your head. Anybody? Anybody? No, of course not. Kamala Harris. That's what I've been nicknaming her. Kamala Harris. Why? Cackling all the time. We need equity. Everybody should end up in the same place. There she is. Vice President of the United States wanting to be president, telling us we should all end up in the same place. So can I be vice president? Sure, if you run. She didn't run. She's gotten anointed. How do I get anointed? How do I get anointed without one single citizen, or non-citizen for that matter, voting for me for president to be the nominee? How do you do that? Well, first of all, you got to broom out all the people who did vote. Isn't this amazing? We're celebrating Stalinism on the Democrat Party side. They're all giddy. I watch their talking heads on TV. It's like you need a neck brace. You hurt your neck trying to follow these people. So Biden, he's our man. And then all of a sudden, Biden's got to go. Who's next? We're going to have a mini primary. What the hell is that? It's nothing. But then they scrap that. No, we can't have a debate. Can we, Kamala? No. She gets the nomination without a debate, without a challenge, while she's challenging Trump to a debate. She's an illegitimate candidate. She didn't get it fair and square. She got it from a marijuana smoke-filled room. That's all.